COVID-19 cannot be defeated without testing. But there are multiple different types of testing, and most people don't understand it. This video is designed to help the average person talk to the physician or a physician determine what type of testing is right for you. Now, this plate represents a healthy human body. The first type of testing is the PCR testing. And most people are familiar with this only to the extent that they're familiar with swabs. So, what happens is if someone has the PCR testing and it comes back negative, that means that enough sample was not collected to determine you had COVID-19. Or you didn't have COVID-19, and this test lasts for 14 days. The reason why I say 14 days is because if you test positive for COVID-19, the recommended quarantine time is 14 days. This represents the one problem with PCR testing, is how often do you think Americans go through in every 14 days get a new test where they go through, and how expensive would that be as a nation to have every person tested every 14 days. But this also brings up what many people are asking about, which is false negatives and how do those occur. For the purpose of this demonstration, we'll be using ketchup to represent COVID-19. So right now the patient or you are just getting infected with COVID-19. And it doesn't start off as a big infection. If caught early, it can be treated. Now, what happens with a false negative is the swab goes over here and then it's tested, and congratulations, you'll see there is no COVID-19. This would be on an acute stage where there's not a lot of virus, so the chance of picking it up is less. But as time progresses, especially without treatment, more and more viruses accumulated in the body, and it becomes easier for a sample to be obtained, and with this, a clear positive COVID-19 test, and quarantine should occur for 14 days. But the problem with this, though, is for many people you will see symptoms, with the most prevalent being fatigue and shortness of breath and flu-like symptoms. But when you hear asymptomatic, these are people that have tests that would look like this, but they have no symptoms. These are the people that are most worrisome to the physicians because they can go out and spread it without even knowing it. However, the body, as it is, adapts. How does it adapt? Well, your body starts to develop an immune system, responds to it, and creates antibodies. There are two types of antibodies, IgM and IgG. The first one will be represented by mustard, and this is the IgM. And the mustard will combat the COVID-19, and you can see this will be tested next, or can be tested next. Now you can see that this is a lot more dense, and with the next form of testing with the IgM, this is done through serology or blood testing. And in order to demonstrate this, it's going to be different. It's not a swab. What they do is they take some of your blood and they run it and spin it down. So as you can see, I'm using a sponge to represent the blood testing. And you can see there's the mustard, and there's the ketchup on a yellow sponge even. So you will be able to see that when this happens, if you have IgM, it means that your infection still should stay quarantined, but your body is starting to get better. The final stage of battle with COVID-19 concerns the IgG. And this is where your body gets really good at fighting, and it just completely covers and destroys. So very little of the virus is left. And when you have IgG, which is again tested through serology, all that you will get for the most part is the IgG. And if you have the IgG, then you are able to go back to work. You don't have to be worried about spreading it to someone else. But more importantly, your antibodies, these IgG antibodies, can go and help saving people that are severely ill with COVID-19 through the use of donation of plasma, becoming an antibody hero. So this is the stages of COVID-19. Healthy, acute, active care, first stage IgM antibodies, then the IgG. Now, there are different problems with each test. Again, because no test is perfect. But if you feel like you've had COVID in the past, or you're worried about being an asymptomatic spreader, then there's nothing wrong with getting IgG tests to make sure that you haven't had it, or that if you have had it, that you've completely beaten it. Thank you very much, and I hope everyone stays healthy.